So Sweta, please introduce sir.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Please switch on your video, introduce.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Sivaram Krishna, sir, for an extensive presentation and deep insight into biomedical applications of 3D printing. And moving on, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sriram Venkatesh, sir, Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, UCE OU. And sir will talk on challenges in establishing COE in 3D printing and overview of metal 3D printing using SLM. Dr. Sriram Venkatesh sir is presently working as Controller of Examination of Osmania University and Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, UCE OU. Sir has 24 years of teaching and 2 years of industrial and research experience. His research areas of interest are additive manufacturing, bulk solids handling, design of bins, bunkers and silos, computer-aided modeling, design and analysis, and CAD/CAM. To his credit, he has won many awards, honors, and recognitions like State Level Best Teacher Award by Government of Telangana in 2019, Engineer of the Year Award jointly awarded by the Government of Telangana and the Institution of Engineers, India, Career Award for Young Teachers by AICTE in 2002. Sir has published 100 papers in various international and national journals and conferences. And Sir is a man behind and also the founder and director for the Center for Prototyping and Testing of Industrial Products, a 3D printing center established in 2009. And the center has been awarded the Academic Research Award of Excellence by Additive Manufacturing Society of India, Bangalore. The above center has been upgraded and renamed as a Center for Product Design, Development and Additive Manufacturing, a Center of Excellence of OU under RUSA 2.0 with rupees 5.5 crores. He has also done many research and consultancy projects in the area of 3D printing. With a warm welcome, I invite Professor Sriram Venkatesh sir to continue with his presentation.
Thank you. Hand over. 1 minute.
Sir, welcome, sir.
I'll sharing the screen. Right, 1 minute. Yeah, please share. It's coming. Coming? Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, we are able to see. F5 mode. All right. Okay. Please proceed now. Please. You can proceed now, please.
Okay. So, good afternoon to all the participants, and good afternoon to Dr. Sivaram Krishna. He is my coordinator and also joint director of CPDDM. And also, thanks for the introduction of my biodata to Sweta. So, actually, I was given the topic challenges. Is I'm able to hear you properly. Is it okay?
We are able to hear. We are able to hear very clear voice.
Okay. So challenges in establishing a center of excellence, that is COE, in 3D printing and overview of metal 3D printing using SLM. This is the topic of the today's session. So I will be touching upon what are the challenges I have faced during the establishment of the Center of Excellence, and it is an experience to all of you to write in a proposal and also establish a Center of Excellence. And similarly, the state-of-art 3D printer, metal 3D printer, what we have procured from Germany is SLM 280 from SLM Group, Germany. That is selective laser melting. So I will touch upon some of the points earlier what we had experienced in CPTIP, that is Center for Prototyping and Testing of Industrial Products. That was the center established under MHRD funds in Osmania University Engineering College with a tune of 1.5 crores. So with that experience, with more enthusiastic we are, and then we had a thought of establishing the Center of Excellence by adding some more state-of-art missions covering all the maximum technologies that are the industry using at present. So this is my outline of presentation. Definition of 3D printing. Background of CPTIP means the Center for Prototyping and Testing of Industrial Products. Objectives of center and scope of research, expected outcomes and timelines of the work, budget details. So the first part of the presentation, almost 22 slides are there. It is limited to only the Center of Excellence. So next part is for overview of selective laser melting. So coming to definition, rapid prototyping was the word used almost 15 years back. So when I was proposing the center, CPTIP, Center for Prototyping and Testing of Industrial Products, prototype was actually a real amazing word at that time. So that's why nowadays also we are using prototypes word, and all of you must aware that prototyping, additive manufacturing, 3D printing, e-manufacturing, all these simultaneously are layered manufacturing. Simultaneously, we interchangeably use these words, but you treat it as the same. But prototype means only to look, to see, to validate, to design validate. But the functional prototype means directly we use it. So earlier, we used to say prototype. It was not used for practical purposes. That's why it was called as a prototype. So there are two definitions given by the Terry Wohlers and Joe Beeman. One is a technology that produces models and prototype parts from 3D CAD model data and MRI scan data, and model data created from 3D object digitization systems. So out of these definitions, the first definition is most to presently additive manufacturing, rapid prototyping. So what is the input? So we are going to give two types of inputs. One input is the CAD model data. Second type of input is medical data, that is computer tomography or magnetoresonance interface. So these two are medical data pertaining to a particular patient. So we can give either 3D CAD model data or CT scan and MRI data. And third type of data is 3D object digitizing systems, that is reverse engineering. That means we can scan the existing component and convert into CAD model, and we can give as a input to the any rapid prototyping system. So there are basically three types of data fed into the 3D systems. CAD data model, that is what we are doing, much more time consuming process, and CT scan MRI data, which is given with the doctors, and again 3D object digitizing systems, which again we do for where which dimensions are not available or the existing component is to be modified. Such cases we go for digitization of existing components. Three types of data are given to the all 3D systems worldwide. So another definition given by Joe Beeman, it is a fabrication of parts without using any tools, jigs, figures, etc., etc. So this is seems to be very simple definition. But in a way, what I tell you that the 3D printing systems or 3D printing technology is nothing but conceptualization to realization. Conceptualization to realization. Conceptualization means whatever the concept you have in your mind that you are conceiving in the form of 3D, which is really amazing. So earlier, how the text what you are going to see on the monitor are appearing on the paper like 2D printing. And earlier what we have seen CAD models appearing on monitor, only soft copy. But now nowadays we are going to see as physical objects as you are designed. So you are realizing dream. Your dream is you are conceptualizing something and you are realizing something. So 100% what you are realizing is what you are conceptualized. So that means you have a feel of getting your idea into 3D model. So this is a general definition given by the two persons. So coming to the background of state of art rapid prototyping and testing of industrial products, which was established in 2009 at our engineering college in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. So it was in 2009. So the idea stuck to my mind at that time because I was teaching CAD/CAM. When I was teaching CAD/CAM, there was a last chapter in the CAD part, that prototyping. So it was doing earlier in the developed countries. They have the machines. Okay, in India, almost no or very few machines are available, only in IITs. Then I thought of procuring those machines, putting like this center. And at that time, no IIT status was conferred to the engineering college, but because of some reasons it was withdrawn, and then the MHRD has given some 7 crores to government of to the University College of Engineering. They have asked us to propose some projects. So then I proposed this project in 2008 or 7 and 8 between. So then we have conceived our idea by writing a proposal, and ultimately in 2009 March we have established the center, and since then we are working on 3D printing, and I will touch upon what we have done at our 3D printing using our old machine, that is a selective laser sintering machine. So the purpose is to the needs of BE, BTech or ME, MTech students and PhD scholars pursuing their PhD work. So almost 4 students are working on that, and 2 students already got the PhDs, and another 6 students are working in the area of 3D printing. So we got the projects from the various funding, the defense labs, industries, and why don't we take consultancy from them, because they are going out to do some projects. So they have given the projects, and we have already supplied the parts. We have given the services to them, and at the same time we got the money, and also we got the what you call maintenance of the center money. The center is also involved in the servicing the society by helping the doctors from various hospitals located in and around Hyderabad. So Hyderabad is a hub of a lot of corporate hospitals, and even government hospitals also patients are there. Many a times the patients is not able to afford the implants rate. So we have produced such an implant to the 2 patients which are economically very poor, and they were charging around 40,000, but is not able to pay. But we have built it for only 13,000. So similarly, the another industry, that is a private industry, and even the government is ECIL, we supplied the components so that they retrofit these components to do some further modification to the product development. So this was the machine procured in 2009. So the machine is called Farmiga P100. The Farmiga is a model name. P means plastic, is 100 is their number. So it is imported from Germany, Munich, and that is the company name is called Electro Optic Systems EOS GmbH, Germany. The technology at that time was selective laser sintering. You know, still we are using selective laser sintering for metal arc emissions as well as even plastic arc emissions. The maximum size that we can build with this machine is 200 x-axis, 250 y-axis, 330 g-axis. The laser type is CO2 laser, and the power of the laser is 30 watts. So the laser beam diameter is 0.5, and the maximum emission, that is the sound level, is 62 decibels. The minimum layer thickness is 0.05 mm. So with this, but we don't have any permission to change the layer thickness. That is a 0.01 layer thickness. So this is the minimum layer thickness of 0.1 mm powder, and 0.02 in the case of metal. The same company produces DMLS machines, SLS machines, where metal powders are used in those machines. We can go even up to 0.02 mm layer thickness in the case of metal. The minimum wall thickness that can be produced is 0.4 to 0.5 mm, because the laser beam diameter is 0.5. That's why we cannot go less. We cannot build the wall thickness less than the diameter of the laser beam. So almost the surface finish is 10 microns, and properties in the X, Y, Z directions are same. And then we can produce functional prototypes which are operated at 100 degrees centigrade. Why? Because this is a plastic polyamide powder. So the temperature, if you increase, there is a possibility of changing its properties. That's why it is used at room temperature to maximum 100 degrees centigrade. So the types of powders used at in these machines are, so polyamide, that is a PA 2200, is white in color, and polyamide 3200 glass filled semi-black. So carbon filled. So three powders can be used in this particular SL machine, and polystyrene used for these support materials. As this PA 2200, PA 2300 does not require any support material, because the loose powder acts as the self-supporting system for SLS machine. So the average size is 60 microns, and the build temperature is, we can set it almost, it is 166 to 172, we can set it. So this build temperature also varies depending upon whether you are using new powder or mix of gold powder and new powder. So this is the machine. So this is a machine. Are you able to see any one of you? Because in between network connection, I will go on teaching and nobody will follow.
We are able to see.
Unmute and tell me. Okay.
We are able to see, Venkatesh. We are able to see.
Yes, right. This is our machine. This is the Farmiga P100, and this is a command control room monitor, touchscreen LED monitor, where all the operations carried out in this. This is a small one. This is zoomed here, and we can see all the reporter position, which number of, how many number of layers, how much time it takes, which layer is present or building. All this can be seen. So if you open this door, so we'll see like this. So this is called pyrometer, and the pyrometer eats the material, that is a powder, from room temperature to the sintering temperature. So it is gradually increasing from room temperature to the building temperature to avoid distortions. This is mixer. For example, if you are using old powder 70% and new powder 70%, old powder 30%. So we need to mix it on by placing the pin over here, and we just simply switch on, and it will continue to rotate for example 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and then thorough mixing will be taking place. This is our post-processing unit. After building the parts, we can eject the parts by placing here, and then there is a pneumatic arrangement is there, and after that, it will eject, and we will collect the parts over here, and the powder will be excess powder will be poured here, and then again we can seal and we reload with new powder. So these are some of the what you call the components or parts built at our center. Okay, so this is a handheld computer, and these parts are given by the customers. And this is a tower. This is a Ganesh idol. This is a reverse engineering process. Existing one is what you call digitized, and then we can build it. So these are some of the biomedical applications. One company in Hyderabad, we have a Transient company. They used to manufacture all biomedical applications, implants, and also sports safety devices to the sports persons. So these two sets and these kneecaps, or these three figures are showing that these are sports safety devices, knee braces and kneecaps. So for example, cricket players or the volleyball players or football players. So for them, they are manufacturing this. So initially they have done it with powder, and once it is everything is okay, then they go for manufacturing with the metal by any process like injection molding or any other processes. So this is a cranioplasty surgery prototype of implant, which is a real patient specific implant. So actually this part is to be removed, and it is to be replaced into the patient. So the shape of this is very, very difficult. So the shape how we obtained is only CT scan and MRI data. So through CT scan and MRI data, we could achieve this shape, and afterwards using Magix software, we built it, and then we reconstructed the model, and the model is again sent to the 3D printing machine, that is SLS, and we produce it, and this is given to the doctor, and doctor uses this, and they will prepare the same replica of it with a biocompatible material and implant into the patient. So this is also such a machine estimation of orbital volume fracture, orbital Y, using prototype of a skull. So suppose he may met with an accident or any cancer patients, or what is to be removed, how much is to be removed, that can be calculated by using 3D printing. So I will share one video. So why I will just share this. Are you able to see?
Video we are unable to see, Venkatesh.
But video, actually it is in OneDrive. I think it is I already opened, but instead of switching over to other, just I'm downloading.
Now, when you are sharing, share it as you on previous PPT on share, and come share the video directly. Is the video available in your desktop? In our desktop?
That desktop already opened.
So now you come out of the PPT, then again close the share PPT, then again share and select that file.
Almost it's finished. Which one? Is there
Close the present. You are sharing now PPT now, so you close that share.
No, what I mean to say, what you are seeing now, it is downloading. You are seeing now, downloading.
No, we are seeing future research in 3D printing PPT. We are seeing.
Okay, okay. Achha, that is only to say.
So first close this share
Okay,
for
okay.
PPT, then
Okay, I will share. PowerPoint. Are you able to see now this
we are seeing only PPT only.
PPT only? Yeah.
Close that share option plan, close the PPT. Please close that option. What you do is you stop sharing the PPT, then again go
Okay,
to
okay.
share and select the no, right. Now you stop. Now you share again with the video. That will help.
This one.
Now we are able to see the video, right? We are able to see the video.
So are you able to see the voice also?
Voice we are unable to hear, but unmute yourself. Mute lo undi meedi. Volume, you increase the volume, Venkatesh. You increase the volume. You increase the volume. Hello? Venkatesh, you increase the volume. Video is not functioning. Hello? 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 Venkatesh, I switch it off. Hello? Video is not playing, it has stuck. Video is stuck in. Again, share. Video is displayed, but it is not running.
Okay. Okay.
Now we are able to see. It's not playing. It's not, no, it's sound is not coming. That is issue with this. You can tell background. Yes. You are unable to hear the sound. For my video also it is same. Have you increased the video volume? Still we are unable to hear.
100%. It's 100% is there.
But unable to hear. That is the problem with this. For me also same.
So-
you can speak. You can speak. The background you tell what is happening.
All the participants, this is actually a video I wanted to show you about the future of 3D printing in biomedical engineering. So this video shows you about the printing of kidney. Okay, this is but not the functional one, but they are almost imitating the same kidney. And in near future, we are going to print such kidneys and implant into the patients. So that is the idea of showing this video to all of you. This is the motivation behind the for us to go for even Center of Excellence. So just view it.
Venkatesh, you can speak about this. The audio is not clear.
So here the scanner is scanning the wound of a particular patient. For example, a patient is having engraving of some flesh is removed otherwise. New flesh is to be printed onto the woman patient. So then this picture shows that the scanning of wound is scanning of body to identify the size of the kidneys and other parts. So you can see this scanner is scanning the wound and it is filling with the material. As you know, the kidney is also scanned and all the layers have been stored in the computer memory. And next we are going to build the kidney part also by layer information stored in the computer. Now the 3D printing is printing the kidney part. So what he's showing is the kidney. Okay, that is the video. I will now share the. So are you able to see this back to Sri Krishna?
We are able to see your PPT. We are able to see.
PPT. Okay. Right. So that is the future. If anybody is going to invent the material, anybody means in the sense of microbiology, biological sciences. So biological sciences scientists invent the material, but they are in the job. So they are going to invent shortly the all biocompatible materials, even like flesh, like muscle, like a kidney part or liver part. If they are able to invent it, we are ready to print. That is the future of the 3D printing machines. Okay. So another components we produced at our CPT IP are this is a cash counting machine. So we produced it at Acura at Patancheru. There is a company, the cash counting machine, and this is already I told this handheld computers where the electronic credit card swiping machines and electricity bills, GHMC bills. So it is connected with the internet, and then they will give you bill. And this since 15 years we are doing it. So this is a Pepsi mixing machine. It is one of the Tech Mahindra project. And this is a typical pictures now showing that armored body for the Indian Army. So this is given by DMRL Hyderabad, and it is actually tested here, and then they have implanted, they have conceived the idea and supplied the armored, that is a bulletproof jackets to the army. So this is a knee brace already we have studied. So these are some of the components produced at our center, but all these are functional. Suppose if you keep all these components inside and connect electrical motor, it should work. So to that accuracy, these particular 3D printing machines produces, and we are also engaged and practiced in producing such a accurate 3D printing parts. So these are the conceptual models. Okay, for example, in civil engineering, they want to have a miniature of a site, a miniature of a apartment, miniature of some proposed project. So all those also they are using 3D printing to show the replica of the proposed project, proposed stadium, proposed any civil structure. So these are some of the components. So here we can have stack of material. So some similar parts are there. We can put a stack of material inside the bin by giving space between parts, just 5 to 10 mm. And second part of the presentation is Center for Product Design, Development and Additive Manufacturing. So a Center of Excellence of OU. We have written the project and submitted to the Osmania University, that to RUSA, Board of Directors, and 2 times, 3 times we have presented it, and we convinced them to upgrade and renamed as the above center. And this is one of the 7 centers established in Osmania University. Under 3D printing, there is only 1 center, and it is from the RUSA, Rashtriya Uchitar Shiksha Abhiyan, that is National Higher Education Mission, Government of India, Ministry of HRD. There is a scheme. The second means it is a second phase of RUSA funds, and we convinced them and to give the project to us. So any project, you have to justify. So what is the experience you have, future in background, and how many publications you are having, what is the experience you are having in particular 3D printing area, and even hands-on experience. Then you can convince the people to add some more machines, some more 3D printers to buy it. So it is not that easy. So that's why this is the project actually. So our basic objective is to conduct research in the frontier areas of additive manufacturing for various applications like biomedical, aerospace, defense, industries, even the tooling, etc. And the basic is to guide the projects, BE, BTech, ME, MTech, research scholars. So being in other education institutions, our primary motto is this, and secondary is doing some consultancy work, and because we have to earn, so otherwise it is very difficult to sustain. So we have to buy the raw materials, very costly raw materials, and we have to meet the salaries, etc. So to provide prototype facilities to medical professionals by building prototypes that will help in pre-planning of surgeries involving complex operations. So not only the mechanical area, it is widely spread into the biomedical area. So almost all dental doctors, even orthopedicians, they are using surgeons, they are using this 3D printing technology in planning the operations before planning. They are going to perform on 3D printed parts. To conduct short-term training courses, this is anyway academic suit. So conferences, workshops, and faculty development programs, etc. So I'm happy to share with you that this is a first FDP, that is Atal FDP 3D printing design and 3D printing and design seminar, FDP conducted jointly with the mechanical engineering department and the CPDDAM, that is Center for Product Design and Development and Additive Manufacturing. So we are going to conduct similar FDPs workshops and conferences in future, and this is sponsored by AICTE and jointly organized by the CPDDAM and Usman Engineering Mechanical Department. Similarly, shortly we are going to organize a 2-day workshop exclusive for doctors, those who are involving in the 3D printing area, from the funds of RUSA, that is from the CPDDM, that is Center for Product Design Development and Additive Manufacturing, shortly. So these are all we are why our proposal DPR, detailed project proposal, is strong, because we have to justify. So not only in mechanical engineering teaching, so it is not only for teaching and showing the students, but we can tap nearby. So many R&D institutions are there. We have to attract them to give support services and money, and biomedical and jewelry also, jewelry industries, sports and entertainment. So Hyderabad is hub of all these, so that this center will cater the needs of these people, so that they need not go away from Hyderabad, and we are ready to provide the services. That was the motto of our the center, to convince them to buy all these machines. So that's the reason the CPTIP earlier what we had is upgraded to the Center for Product Design Development and Additive Manufacturing, because so that is actually old title, and the new title is given by the board of directors in consultation with our joint director, myself, and we finally decided the name CPDDAM. And the what you call the aims and objectives are fully defined. And previous to this, we have conducted GAN program also, but GAN is also on 3D printing. But at that time, the center was it is in the initial stage, and that's why in future we conduct remaining FDP programs or GAN programs or any other programs under the aegis of the CPDDM. So the existing CPTIP was only plastic machine. So we are not able to produce functional prototypes. And for example, if you have a 3D metal printer, you can directly print tools, dies. You can directly print implants, which will be directly implanted into the patient. So that type of facility was not there. So that's why we convinced, saying that no, we are already doing a lot of work, and with the plastic, no, it is a one step ahead. So metal means direct step. So after plastic, again they have to build with the metal. Doctor has to go somewhere to get it done. That's why we convinced and developed the center. So the why we have to go for Center of Excellence by adding so many missions. So because we are engaged in, the industries are engaged in new products, new startups, and our own students have started 3D printing centers. One of our MTech student is already engaged in Hyderabad with the setting up of the 3D printing centers, and he is giving services to the industries, hospitals, etc. So limited missions are there. I think it is in Gajagiri. Similarly, some more students recently, one more MTech students have already partnerized in another 3D printing machines industry, and so that they are becoming like entrepreneurs. So it becomes this 3D printing technology also becomes a business. You can become entrepreneurs, and for the researchers, you can do some new products, new processes, and you can also go for patents. So apart from this, we have proposed that apart from BME projects, because of the emerging area of game technologies, so now Industry 4.0 is also coming up area. So 3D printing is also part of Industry 4.0. So it is a green manufacturing. It is a so future is green manufacturing. So 3D printing also a part of green manufacturing. So Industry 4.0 is also a part of green manufacturing is a part of Industry 4.0. Thus making them ready for employability. And so in a way, if the students are exposed to this particular state of art machines, they are already trained, and they definitely get employability, increase employability, and then to go to industry now, they don't require any training. So because already they're working here and exposed to the operations and various softwares that are available in the 3D printing technology, and particularly at our center. So it is also increasing the entrepreneurial skills of the student by establishing incubation centers for converting the new ideas into commercially viable physical model. So almost 8 months back, before COVID, we were engaged in developing a 3D CAD model for flowing of blood. So for flowing of blood. So for how to flow blood, so there are some channels we prepared, and based on the this is particular for cancer patients. So based on the complexity, based on the density of the blood, and based on the segregation of the cells, they identify the cancer patient, the cancer is increasing or decreasing. So they have approached us, and we have provided a 3D CAD model, and it is submitted to the DST for approval. So that once it is approved, no, then we can once it is approved, then collaborating with 3D printing center and the CCMB scientist, we are going to generate build in future the cancer detecting device. So not a detecting device, it is a cancer monitoring devices, we can say. So once already patient is infected with cancer, so without cancer, what is the blood flow? With cancer patients, how the once cancer is attacked, and how it is growing. So based on the treatment will be undertaken. So definitely this center will go useful, and not only for the academician but also to the society in this domains. So these are the project details. Just I don't want to touch because already we finished the project. We have started 1 year back, and everything established. Now it is ready to launch. So capability matrix of Center for Product Design and Development and Additive Manufacturing, CPDDM. Capability matrix means what we have at our institution. That I would like to give you brief overview of it. Anyway, on 6th, I think we have a demo on SLS, SLM, and Polyjet, 3 missions. And those missions also I will just give you the specs over here. So this is the what you call capability matrix. So see, first one is SLM. So this is SLM mission 280 selective laser melting, and imported from SLM Group Solutions Group, Germany. It is in the name itself is given as selective laser melting is the technology, and the maximum build volume is 280, 360 in X, Y, Z directions. So this is the maximum build area from this mission. And the laser what it's built in is 400 watts fiber laser. 400 watts fiber laser. Then the layer thickness range 20 microns to 70 microns we can vary. So for carrying out research work, you can go on increasing 20 microns to 70 microns so that we can study the properties of the material. And the materials that it can handle, that the SLM machine is stainless steel, aluminum alloy, nickel alloy, copper alloy, titanium alloy, and cobalt alloy. So the applications, applications are numerous. So functional prototypes, aeronautics, aerospace, automotive, defense, tooling, military, aviation, and medical, etc. are the applications of. So we are already receiving orders from the defense labs for this particular mission. Next is Formula 300. Already I explained Formula, its specifications, and the 200 by 250 by 330 is the maximum build volume achieved through SLS mission, and the carbon dioxide laser is there, CO2 laser, and 30 watts power is the power generated by the laser. And these applications includes the functional prototypes, automotive, aerospace, aeronautics, tooling, medical, almost similar. Biomedical also there, but it is the intermediate. Medical surgical planning also we can use it. So materials are PA 2200, PA 2300, 3200, glass field, GF means glass field. Even also we can use polystyrene. So next in the order, third is the Object 30 Pro is a model. It's a Polyjet technology. Object 30 Pro Polyjet technology from Stratasys company. Earlier it was actually original inventors are in Israel, but it's taken over by the Stratasys, and it is procured under TechCube, and the build volume is 294 by 192 by 150, almost 150. Okay, so the technology is here, unlike the laser, here UV light is impinged onto a layers of thickness of resin. So the resin are Vero clear, Vero white. So these are two types of layers, materials which this particular Polyjet handles. So this is having application in the area of conceptual models, prototype models, medical, jewelry industry, tooling, and casting. Okay, this also we are having at our center. The fourth one, what we have is FabPro 1000. It is a model. The FabPro 1000 model. It is imported from USA from 3D Systems company, and the technology is digital light processing, DLP, digital light processing, and it is a SLA, nothing but a SLA, serial therapy operators. It is a liquid, the liquid resin we use, photopolymers we use here, and new technology is digital light processing, DLP, and the maximum build volume of this 3D printing system is 125 by 70 by 120. So this is ultraviolet laser, and the layer thickness is 30 to 100 microns. Is the layer thickness. We can vary, and the applications includes the material, gel cast, adherent, tough black, flexible black, biocompatible resin are we use, and almost the applications, if you see, 60-70% of the common applications are there, which is used for complex assemblies, master patterns, vacuum castings, okay, custom assembly jigs and fixtures, wind tunnel models, etc. So with that, 3D printer, the SLE. So now, new machine. So first one, fourth one, fifth one, 3 machines are new machines added into the center. So the last one, what machine we added is Ultimaker S5. Ultimaker S5 Pro Bundle is Ultimaker is a S5 is the model, and it is the FDM technology, and this machine is imported from Netherlands. So the technology is FDM, fused diffusion modeling. So it is popularly known to everyone, FDM. And the maximum build size from this particular machine is 330 by 240 by 300 is a maximum build value. And we can also vary the layer thickness. And then we can use ABS, PLA, tough PLA, polycarbonate, TPU, and PL. So it handles many materials. So rapid manufacturing, functional testing, and conceptual models. These are all the applications of this particular technology. Coming to the Flash Forge Finder. So Flash Forge 3D technology imported from China, and this is also FDM technology, and the maximum build volume from this is 140, 140, 140, all directions, and PL is the material used, only one material, and applications are almost similar to the previous one. So this is one important thing is all so far explained are 3D printers, including the last one. But this 7th one is 3D scanner. Arctech 3D scanner, Space Sider. This is imported from Luxembourg, Arctech 3D. So it is very costly. Seems to be like an iron box. It is iron box, but same iron box size, but 33 lakhs. So this scanner, and what is the purpose of it? We can scan it, the existing component, and we can modify and use it in reverse engineering, 3D scanning models, and science and technology. We can use the components. We can redesign and use them in education. One second. Sorry, I was called for lunch, but anyway, we will complete our task. Dr. Shivaram Krishna is there? Okay.
I am there, Venkatesh. I am there. I am there. I am there.
Just Vice Chancellor sir is looking and going because they are going for lunch. But I said I will come afterwards and I will finish it and come. And this is about the 3D scanner. And another important thing is small prototype machine. Not only prototype, it is also functional prototype. Shiv OU. Shiv OU means is the Shivakumar Usman University student. So Usman University student, he designed and fabricated this particular 3D printer, FDM printer. It is working It is working right now, and we produce a lot of components and also given to some students projects also. So the size of this is again 140, 140, 140, and this is PLA. So we have together now 3 FDM technologies, 1 SLS technology, 1 SLM technology, 1 SLA technology. So almost how many we are having? You see, 7 machines we are having, 1 scanner. So 7 machines and 1 scanner. So starting from 1, the this is a SLM technology. This is a SLS technology. This is PolyJet, and this is a SLA and FDM. So 1, 2, 3, 4 FDM technologies are there. 4 plus 3, 7. So this is the capability matrix of CPDDAM. So now overview of SLM metal 3D printer. So selective laser melting printer. So just I will give you brief about the SLM and what are the specifications and what is the stage at which we are now. So this is the diagram you can see, but it is very small. Are you able to see or not? I don't know. But wonderful classification given by 3D Hubs. That is a website called 3D Hubs. He has 7 types of AM technologies and sub classifications and companies. So not only he has classified the technologies, he has given the sub technologies and also companies which produces these machines also given. So for example, first one, VAT or evaporation photopolymerization. Next is material extrusion. Second one is material jetting. Fourth one is binder jetting. Fifth one is powder bed fusion. And sixth one is direct energy deposition. Seventh one is sheet lamination. These are the basic, all technologies are classified into 7 groups. So under VAT polymerization, we have sub technologies and companies that produces the technologies. So under VAT polymerization, we have SLA, DLP, CDLP. So in Usmania University, we have SLA and DLP. SLA, DLP almost they are similar, but we say DLP, digitalized processing machine. We have Ultimaker. Ultimaker is the 3D systems. FAPRO is this DLP system. And coming to material extrusion, FDM. So FDM, we see already FDM, all 4 machines are there. FDM means Ultimaker, ShivOU, and Dr. Shivaram Krishna mentioned, that is what you call FlashForge. FlashForge. So these 3 machines are under this FDM technology. Material jetting. So under material jetting, we don't have any MJ. Material jetting means this one actually, statistics object. So only the PolyJet is under this category. So binder jetting we don't have. Binder jetting generally very weak. That's why nobody is using. So under powder bed fusion, we have 2 technologies. So here 1, 2, 3, 4 are there, but we have 2 machines. One machine is SLS machine, that is plastic one from EOS, and SLM, selective laser melting, from this again SLM. There are so many companies are there which produces DMLS. DMLS means direct metal laser sintering. SLM means selective laser melting. So this is sintering, this is melting. So you know the difference. What do you mean by sintering? What do you mean by melting? So SLM is having more strength. SLM prods are more strength because it's melting. Almost 99.9% density we are going to achieve with the SLM. So next EBM. EBM we don't have. So lens. So in DMR we have lens, lens technology. So this is for LOM, laminate object manufacturing, and electron beam machining. Like So these are the various, at nutshell, no, we can see all the technologies at one slide, including their manufacturing. So recently, HP also came into picture. HP is manufacturing this fusion, multi-jet fusion. This also comes under powder bed fusion. So now, selective laser melting and direct metal laser sintering are two metal additive manufacturing process that belong to the powder bed fusion 3D printing family. You can see in the previous slide. So DMLS, SLM, or even SLS are categorized into powder fusion, powder bed fusion technology. Two technologies have a lot of similarities. Both uses a laser scan and selectivity use melt. So one is sintering, other one is melting. So also the materials using both process are metals that are come into a granular form, that is powder form, granular powder. So if you see under microscope, you can classify into like a sphere or semi-sphere, like that powders will appear. The difference between SLM and DMLS are come down to the fundamentals of the particle bonding process. Also, as per the patents, SLM uses metal powders with single melting temperature and fully melts on the particles, while DMLS powder is composed of metal with. So it is, one is sintering, other one is melting. So similarly, if you look at the part strength, definitely the parts which are produced from the SLM would be superior over the other one, because sintering will be, anyway, limitations are there. 100% melting is not taking place. Porosity will be there. So that's the reason, before establishing the Center of Excellence, we have confirmed with many companies, and even myself, visited Israel. I visited Israel aerospace industry, and I could see what type of machines they are using. And myself, my joint director also visited the ARCI, and there also we could see what type of machines they are using. So finally, we have decided that this SLM would be better. Even Israel also they are using, and even our defense industry also they are using. And pros and cons we studied, and then finally landed into going for these SLM, and we finally procured the SLM. So the basic fabrication process in SLM is it is simple like other materials. Only thing is it is require the inert gas. So the example, argon. So to build titanium, we need argon. To build other materials, no, we need nitrogen. So first, a spread of coating of powder will be spread over on the bed, and then that powder will be exposed to the laser, fiber laser of 40 watts power, and because of the laser melting, so the granules will fuse or melt and makes the part. So once the part is one layer is built, then it fall down by one layer thickness, and then fresh coat of material will be, powder will be spread over through recoater, and then laser will scan. So scanning is according to 2D layer thickness. So it requires support materials, because once it is melted, it will be fall down because of its density. So in this process, we require the support materials, unlike the plastic SLS machines. So this is a typical process. You can see this is the powder. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, and on z-axis. And a bed of metal powder is fused by laser, layer by layer at one time. And then it is also called a micro building process. So high precision lasers can scan the and melt the intricate geometries with high tolerances in a wide range of materials. Okay, so this is typical layer. So from year to year, the typical layer is, let's say, is it run? So it's not running. Okay. Fully dense material, almost I said no, 99.9% of the density achieved through this process. So this is the first step where the powder will supply and spread over to this platform, and loose powder will be pouring here. And then laser will send the to deflected scanner. The laser will melts the powder. You can see the blue colors are the melted granules, and according to CAD contour, this laser lens deflects according to CAD contour. And once the layer is built, it is the build chamber. This is, and this is the plunger. This fall down by one layer thickness, and second layer will be poured here. And once the piston fall down by one layer thickness, fresh coat of supply through the bin, and the recoater will spread over the material on this platform, and then it will continue operations until completion of this. So these are the, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. If you see under microscope, no, these are the various layers. That the blue color is the part to be built. So in the additive designer, so first step is in the SLM process is a CAD model. For any step, any model is a CAD. First step is a CAD model, and this is then additive manufacturing software. We use it to digitize the system, and we can give the SLM processor part, and after post processing, we'll get the part. So we have to keep in a particular orientation to have more strength. At the same time, economics and part strength are two interrelated. Suppose if you build the part in vertical direction, the directions G direction, number of layers will increase, the cost increases, and the time increases, everything increases. But the part, if you see the strength, for example, cylinder is there. If you keep cylinder in the horizontal direction, you will have one strength. If you keep a cylinder of 15 centimeters height, it will be having different strength. So you have to compromise between the strength and the powder consumption. That is nothing but economic. So the orientation of the part plays wider role in building the part. So the process continues up to building up all the layers. So this recoaters, the layer lowering the platform, and selective laser melting takes place, and up to finishing of the job. So after that, unpacking the machine and part removal takes place, and turning operations, or sometimes we have to remove with the wire cut TDM, and then finished component will be there. These are the result. Support structures are always required in metal printing due to the very high processing temperature, and they are usually built using lattice pattern. So you know what is this research going on? What is the optimized structure? So lattice pattern, why we use? Because to use minimize less powder, less cost. So just required strength only we use. Unnecessarily, if you use solid one, it requires a lot of material and also a lot of effort to remove the support. So nowadays, no, we are using only lattice structure, and which lattice structure is sufficient to support the component is again a trial. The softwares are available to minimize the material and to support the component and to create the design structure, support structure. So they offer suitable platform to next layer to build upon, and they anchor the part. Okay, these are all repetition of the why we require supports. First of all, they offer a suitable part to next layer to build. That is one thing. They anchor the part to build plate. They prevent warpage. So otherwise, without support, what happens now? Because of the high temperatures, now after building, it start cooling. So during cooling, now there is a possibility of warpage. So they act as a sink drawing, and not only to above, but another very important thing is the support metal also act as a heat sink, drawing heat away from the part, allowing it to cool in another controller. So the part supports are three purposes. One is it is allowing to other layer to build and prevents warpage, and also acting as a like fins or something. The sink, it will draw the temperature from the major layer to the supporting layer. Spots are often oriented at an angle, minimize the likelihood of warpage and maximize part strength in a critical direction. So these are all by experience we come to know how to keep, and also software also suggests in which direction it gives maximum strength. So however, this will increase the amount of required support and the build time, the material waste and the total cost. So that's why material wastage and the total cost and all one thing, and the part quality and part strength is another thing. So we have to sometimes compromise based on the customer requirement. So customer doesn't bother about money. So we have to make sure that everything should be perfectly done. So benefits of the limitations of metal 3D printing, benefits and limitations. Metal 3D printing process can be used to manufacture complex bespoke parts with geometries that traditional manufacturing methods are unable to produce. So any 3D printing machine is used to complex geometries. That is the first advantage. And it doesn't require any assemblies. So metal 3D printed parts can be topologically optimized to maximize their performance while minimizing their weight and total number of components in an assembly. So maximum extent possible, we don't go for assemblies. As a single go, we produce the components. Metal 3D printed parts have excellent physical properties, and the available material range include different process otherwise materials such as metal supralloys and all. You can see all 6 metals we have used. So limitations, if you look at the materials that and manufacturing costs connected with the metal 3D printing high, so that the technologies are not suitable for parts that can be easily manufactured with the traditional methods. So the build size also limited, and mass production also not possible. So with this machines, no mass production is not possible. Okay, I'm just quickly going through because already it is 1:20. SLM facility at our center for product design, development, and additive manufacturing. So this facility, you can see, this is the machine. So our dream has come true, and we have installed it. This is the machine, and this is the chiller which will be used to inside the distilled water will be there. The through pipeline, no, it will cool. These are the filters are used to filter the gases, and you can see this is a PSM powder sieving machine. And after using powder, no, then we have to again throw shakers, no, it will fall down, and then it will be collected into the bin and again reuse. So this unit is called the vacuum cleaner. So this is one setup. Only SLM I'm talking about. So these are the range of materials that can handle. So 6 what we have at our places, 6 materials are there. So aluminum alloy, stainless steel, nickel alloy, titanium alloy, cobalt alloy, copper alloy. So there is an ample scope for research. Okay, so you can use materials, you can combine, you can and change the layers of the thickness, and we can calculate the strength, and also you can similar type of materials also we can get it from outside and in the market and do the research. So these are the range of materials. So same thing here. In the aluminum alloys, 3 layers are there, but out of 3 we have 1. That is 10 mg. This is 10 mg. So stainless steel, tool steel. So it has got 3 plus 3, 6 are there, but we have 360L, so 316L. So like that, at least for each category we have one material. All these are available at our place. So this is these are the applications of SLM technologies, metal 3D printing machine, aerospace applications, automotive, functional prototypes, defense, military, tooling, medical, biomedical. So directly we can implant, we can generate the implants and directly implant into the patient, because the titanium, nickel, or the biocompatible materials, you can prepare even knee joints also at our place. So this is the project 1, what we have done at center, 3D printed pelvis joint, hip joint, using FDM based 3D printer for pre-planning surgery and Raghava Hospital, this Warangal. So one doctor approached us, and we have given this particular 3D printed part to him. And next is the cleft. So the cleft is a complex implant prototype was printed using PolyJet 3D printer at this our center actually. So I explained the PolyJet. This is a PolyJet VeroClear. So material is VeroClear. In the top part of our mouth, no, the cleft where we can use as an artificial implant. And finally, what I say, this is my slogan. Otherwise, the general slogan you can say. Earlier, what we used to say that it is a manufacturing-driven design. Earlier, before 3D printing exists. So now it is design-driven manufacturing. Anybody understood that? Is what was the slogan? First slogan: manufacturing-driven design means whatever you design, it should be manufacturable. Otherwise, no use. But now, because of 3D printer, it is design-driven manufacturing. That means, what is that meaning? Design is a limitation. Manufacturing is not a problem. You can do any wonder, anything, but imagination is the problem, and putting into the 3D CAD model is the problem, but manufacturing is not a problem. Hence, no boundaries for manufacturing. So with this, I stop and save Earth by introducing all 3D printers in green manufacturing or industry 4 and all. So this is my last but one slide. The last slide is our address, and before I show the last slide, now I invite some of the questions I want to answer your doubts. Otherwise, I'm standing between your lunch and your session.
Venkatesh, some doubts are put in the chat box. I'll read this. I'll read some questions, so you can answer them. 1 minute.
So all our phone numbers are given here.
Some organizations want to have MOU with you. After your presentation, they got motivated. So it seems some colleges want to have MOU. What is the procedure they are asking? How to do MOU with our center?
See, there are two things. So one is government institutions, another one is private institutions. So for government institutions, it is easy to convince our university. For private institutions, instead of MOU, we can say MOA agreement. Okay, a memorandum of agreement for certain work. Okay, otherwise, always they are welcome to our center for their research work, their projects, anything. But sometimes no, the MOA or MOU or sometimes on paper only, nothing works out. So instead of MOU, MOA, let us start working in collaboration with the institutions coming forward. We are ready to help them.
Sir, how can a person can join in your team for different projects if interested?
So it is all depends on the what you are looking at. So if is it MTech project or a BTech project or a PhD. So because we have to meet the maintenance, the powders and all we have to buy. Suppose you want only component to be built and having exposure of all the missions, we charge nominal charges. So like educational nominal charges we do. So coming to the total, for example, 6 months, 3 months internships, no, we are ready to take up students, UG students, ME students as interns. So because of RUSA, we have given interns to our own students. But in future now, we may have to charge the students for interns coming as interns. So you come here as intern 3 months or 6 months, and you learn all the technologies, and you can go back. And with the project also you can go back. So for that we have to work out the modalities, how much you have to charge and all.
So one question is you Ashok Kumar is asking, sir, harmful emissions is more because the printer emitted 20 billion ultrafine particles per minute using PLA filament. Can you elaborate on that?
What is that? Initially I did not listen.
Harmful emission is more because the printers emitted 20 billion ultrafine particles per minute using PLA filament. Can you elaborate? He's telling some FDM, I think PLA means FDM filament, FDM printers. They are emitting 20 billion ultrafine particles. Can you elaborate on that, sir? He's asking.
So all these machines, while designing and testing and all, they have approved. Okay, it is one is America, another is Germany, other one is the UK. So where the printers are building, no. So it has been approved. So only thing is we have to take care of ourselves. Like while working with them, no, better to use masks. So while post processing and all, better to use masks like what we are using in pandemic, COVID pandemic situation. We can use it. Otherwise, always though that is not that much harmful. Otherwise, it would have been banned.
Yeah, and 1 minute. Is composite material printing possible with dual extruder at our center of excellence?
Yes, yes, possible. Through Ultimaker, it is possible.
Yeah. Sir, can we do our research work as a part of PhD in your center? Yes, I think already answered that.
Yeah, the only thing is if they are registered under Usman University, they can. If even they are not from Usman University, others universities also they can. But the only thing is, we have to charge some nominal prices for powder and all.
For utilizing the services, they'll be charged because definitely power and electricity, everything will come. So that will be charged.
Yeah.
You can use that facility. We will conduct. Can you tell us which material is suitable for making ENT prosthesis? ENT processes.
ENT.
ENT prosthesis. Ear and I think. ENT, I think you want to say ENT processes. That depends on. I think that depends on what type of part you are doing.
Yeah, for dental we are using no, but the ENT purpose.
Please show slide number 51 again if possible. Is telling slide number 51 in last capability matrix. 51.
Oh yeah, metals. Yeah, materials. Yeah, this is 51.
So Vijay Kumar Adhya is telling. Okay, that's done. Already it is shown, Mr. Vijay Kumar. Thank you. Okay. 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 Any participant want to speak to the sir? You can raise hands. I am unmuting Dr. Shashi Kumar, 3DP012. Please speak. I am going to make you as a panelist. Please switch on your video and speak to Professor Sriram Venkatesh, sir. Mr. Sesikumar 3DP 012. Hello? Dr. Sesikumar 3DP 012. I have made you as a panelist. Please switch on your video and you can post your question, please. Your raise your hand.
Chalu.
Yeah, please. Are you there? Mr. Sesikumar. Okay. Then Abdul Rahman. I am unmuting you, Abdul Rahman. Can you say a few words, what you want to speak?
Yes, sir. Very good afternoon to one and all.
Yeah,
Please switch on your video. Please switch on your video.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Rahman ji, switch on your video.
Yeah, very good.
The person will be able to see you. The speaker will also able to see you.
Sir,
Is it possible for you? Otherwise, you can continue with your audio. Please ask your question, please. Yeah, please
sir,
ask it.
actually, I'm into FDM actually. So
Your voice is low. Please increase your
very
voice.
low, very low, very low voice.
yeah, okay. Wait a minute. Sir, actually, I have been working with FDM process. I'm interested in metal 3D printing. So, any kind of hands-on training is provided in your OU. I'm from Hyderabad actually.
Yeah. Actually, we are planning to have a series of training programs, right? I gave you these numbers. Okay. Director.cbddm@usmania.ac.in, and first number is mine. Second number is Dr. L. Shivaram Krishna. Third number is my research scholar Siddharth Chandra. And fourth number is whenever we post it, no, you can apply. We also have a LinkedIn, and we will share the LinkedIn address, and we can join. Okay. Dr. Shivaram Krishna.
Yeah, please.
So we have LinkedIn address for our lab.
Correct.
So all these 200 participants know whenever we have a training program, workshop, we can share it across the participants.
Correct.
And not only for this and projects also, PhD work, MTech work. Okay, we will share you.
Yeah, okay, sir. Actually, one of your alumni named Anurag is a very good friend of mine.
Anurag.
Yeah, yes, sir. Anurag is a very good friend of mine.
Okay.
Yes, actually.
Okay, very good.
Anything to Rahman? Okay.
Sir?
Anything there? I am making you attend again. Anything to say? Over?
No, sir. It was a pleasure meeting you actually.
Thank you, Rahman, for attending.
Thank you.
Right. Next 3DP 180. Making you as a panelist. Please, I am making you as a panelist. Please switch on your video and speak, please.
Yeah. Am I audible, sir?
You are audible.
Yes, sir. So I have two questions. So while we're printing metal 3D printing in SLM or other machines, so there will be a problem of residual stresses. So how can we overcome these kind of problems, and how can we distribute the temperature equally and heat transfer controlling? And one question is, have you ever changed the focal length, diameter of a laser? So have you ever changed, and have you ever tried with a 50 microns, 100 microns diameter laser while printing?
So the first question is residual stresses, no?
Yes, sir.
So almost there won't be any residual stresses. If at all there, no, we have to go for heat treatment process. So after building, so we have to remove the part from the platform through white cadmium, and we have to relieve the stresses through heat treatment process. That is one thing. So I think the changing the laser beam size. So I don't think we have to see, because it is recently procured. We have not done that experiments, and we have a facility of changing the layer thickness and the materials. But we have to see at the changing the beam radius. Beam.
Yes, sir. It's a focal length, so usually it will be calculated.
But there is a provision for changing the laser power. So it is actually 600 watts power is there, but we can change the laser intensity. So laser intensity can be changed instead of laser diameter. Laser diameter is fixed because it's through a set of it is fixed, but laser intensity can be changed, materials can be changed, layer thickness can be changed.
Yes, sir.
That should be allowed by our manufacturer has got some certain open architecture. Up to that limit, we can change the parameters. But beyond that, they won't allow us to change those. That's a very costly machine. It affects the machine.
Yeah. I'm from a I'm from a additive manufacturing company. I'm example of additive manufacturing company in Bangalore, Pena.
Okay.
In Intech DMLS Private Limited, there we have done one kind. My colleagues have done one of this experiment. So at that time they were facing few problems with while changing the focal, and they increased the diameter, and they have reduced the printing time of some 10 hours or 12 hours. I don't know exactly. They have reduced it, and they got a problem of improper material melting over there, and they have gone through few post processings like hot isostatic process, and after, as you said, heat treatment process. Because while heat treatment also there is a problem they have faced, that the outer layer of printing is very thin. It actually not properly joining. The outer layer of a print is very thin, and while the heat treatment, they can see a small up and downs over there on the final product. So, and they have gone through few processes, but they unable to control the this residual stresses, because heat transfer is not properly, they didn't control the heat transfer properly. And I don't know that exactly, but actually I'm working on residual stresses since last 6 months. So actually, if you have done anything in this, is there any process for calculating the residual stresses? That would be more helpful for further research on SLM. So
Yeah, it's a good area, but right now, as you said exactly, we have got the order from DRDO. All things we have to do: building, residual stresses removal, and design from design onwards. So we are working on it. But similar machine I have seen in Israel and also in one of the labs of Hyderabad, the ARC, same model. But ours is the latest model actually. But I have interacted with them, but they did not say anything about this residual stresses. But as you said, DRDO people also saying that no, it should be free from residual stresses, and that is very important, and there is a research area. So one can also do research in that area, leading to PhD.
Yes, sir. So I'm actually, I told you, no, sir, I'm from Intech DMLS Bangalore. So we have designed a 3D printing machine, metal 3D printing machine. So recently our company people collaborated with DMG in Germany.
Which one?
So,
Mr. Dharawat, we have recently procured the machine, so still we have to work on that completely. Okay, we got.
okay, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone? Hanuman Abdul Rahman is over. Dr. Shashi Kumar, you raised your hand. Anything you want to say? Hello, Dr. Shashi Kumar. Okay. So, Mr. Arman Dora again want to speak. Mr. Dora, you can speak now. 3DP 130. Hello? 3DP 130, you can speak. Okay, right. So I think there are no more. One question is asked by Rahmatullah Khan. He says that, sir, is it possible to 3D print MMC metal matrix composites or hybrid metal composite like ceramic partial reinforcements in aluminum alloy, like conventional steel casting method, correlated them with the casted part with 3D printing strength?
So we have to see, because metal matrix composites means we need to have different powders to be mixed. I think it is not possible with our machine, maybe possible with the lens.
Also ceramic also, we don't have that machine to build ceramic.
We don't have.
Okay, right. I think no more questions. Anyone wants to ask question, please raise hands. Otherwise, already we are behind the schedule. We are closing the session. So Thank you, Professor Sriram Ganesh, for your very elaborative and excellent lecture in this FDM, FDP process, FDP. I think I know what is the struggle made by Professor Sriram Ganesh in making this baby to grow over the past 10 years to such a metal 3D printing level. So he has put lot of hard work and physically, I think before this FDP, 3 days he was sitting in the lab itself and seeing everything is set right and everything is made. So we are going to have an exciting demo sessions on the last day, 6th day. Entire session will be taken by Professor Sriram Ganesh sir. And I thank you for you. In spite of your busy schedule, now you are in some other place conducting some other program that is interviews, etc. But still, the interest shown by you to your academics that you want to participate in this FDP and deliver because you are also coordinator, and apart from coordinator, you are handling so many issues. So still, you have spent almost today half the day with our FDP. Thank you very much for joining and enlightening the audience in all these aspects of the technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you, Dr. Sriram.
thank you. So all the participants, we are again going to meet at 2:30. Please start joining by 2:25. We are going to have a speaker from DMRL S. Ramesh. He will be speaking on lens and DMLS. So I wish all of you return back to this session. Feedback link for this session now will be shared in the chat box now. It will be shared just now. Please wait. You please stay in the chat box. I will put in the feedback link for this session. you.